We recently worked with our friend Chase on Two Wheels to get him all set up for his very first motorcycle camping trip ever. Although he didn't end up camping very far from home for obvious and understandable reasons, we're still so excited to have helped him get out and have his very first motorcycle camping adventure. Watching his video was great because it was a reminder of where everyone starts and how easy it is to make mistakes when you just don't have the experience to know better. So, inspired in part by Chase and intended in the most helpful and supportive way possible, let's talk about common mistakes new motorcycle campers make. Number one, and this was my very first thought watching his video, is overinflating air mattresses and pillows. I still make this mistake all the time. In my head, it's like, I'm heavy, I'm big, I must need to fill this mattress up as much as possible so that it keeps me off the ground. But if you just can't get comfortable on air mattresses and you're getting pressure points all the time, I guarantee you're overinflating your pad. It makes sense, right? I want more air to give me more cushion so that my mattress is more comfortable, but that's actually wrong. You want the mattress to conform to you. You don't want it flat and hard as a piece of plywood. You want it pliable so that it can cradle the shape of your body the way that your mattress does at home. The heavier you are, the less air you need because there's more of you to displace what air is in there. Trust me, it sounds weird, but it makes a big difference. So the next time you're laying on your air mattress and you just can't get comfortable, reach over and let some of the air out of it and see if it makes a difference. It should be like almost like half inflated. It'll feel underinflated. We always want to inflate our pads until every little wrinkle disappears, and that is way too much air. Trust me, try less air. It's a very common mistake and you'll be a lot more comfortable overnight. Mistake number two, and this one wasn't necessarily inspired by Chase, but he reminded me of it, is storing your sleeping bags improperly. A down sleeping bag is great because down compress is incredibly small, which makes it easy to pack, but then it lofts back up, offers a lot of insulation, and is very comfortable holding in the heat. But if you keep it compressed all the time, it will stay that way. Compressed down loses its lofted insulation and it tends to bunch up, so you'll have spots in either the individual pockets or in the overall bag where there's no insulation at all. So you should not keep your sleeping bag compressed, whether it's down or not, for any longer than you need to. Compress it for your trip, but when you get home, you should not store it like that. And I know that people do. This is a mistake I was guilty of early on. You need to keep it loose. A lot of the Big Agnes bags come with a very big storage bag. There's a reason that's so big. It's so that the down can decompress. That's a great solution, and even better than that is just hanging up your bag and storing it like in the closet. Do not store your sleeping bags, whether they're down or not, compressed. They need to be able to loft up and spread out so that they will last longer and be warmer. Common motorcycle camping mistake number three, and this one is probably the most serious of the bunch. Chase reminded me of this in his video, but though he didn't necessarily make this mistake specifically. So in Chase's video, if you watch it, he's using rock straps to secure a giant duffel bag to the back of his bike. Rock straps are great. I always use them when I'm gathering firewood and stuff and taking it back to camp. They're maybe not ideal for the specific application that he used them for. You want something with less flex. He did it right in that he had his sleeping bag and stuff in a separate bag. You should never attach a sleeping bag directly to the rear of your bike. You should always have it inside a duffel bag or something else. Far too many injuries, and on serious injuries, like people have lost appendages because their sleeping bag jiggles loose over the course of the day when you're riding on uneven terrain and finds its way into the rear wheel and causes a very, very bad crash. So do not have your sleeping bag out by itself, and know the bag the sleeping bag comes in does not count. It should be in something else, double secured really, to keep that from happening. Strap down your moto camping gear and then double check all your straps after you've ridden for a while so that you have some idea of what's vibrating loose or moving or shifting so that you can tighten that down and reevaluate. Properly securing your gear and your sleeping bag in particular to the rear of your bike is paramount for your safety. So make sure that your gear is secure and do not strap a sleeping bag by itself on your motorcycle. Please don't do that. You do not want to find out your bags are not secure at 70 miles per hour on the freeway. Number four mistake new motorcycle campers make is not understanding how sleeping bag temperature ratings work. Sleeping bags lie. And yes, pun intended. All sleeping bags have a temperature rating, right? But the rating that you see is not a comfort rating. That's what we call a survival rating. So a 20-degree bag will probably keep you alive in 20-degree weather, but you will not necessarily be comfortable. Some bag companies are better than others at this. Some lie or exaggerate more than others, or their numbers are just not as well tested. But a general rule is add 15 to 20 degrees to whatever it says on the bag, and that is your comfort rating. That is the temperature at which you will be comfortable. So if it's gonna be below 35 degrees outside overnight, a 20-degree bag will probably not be comfortable by itself. The ratings also assume you are sleeping on a pad that has at least a 4-ish R value and that you're wearing head-to-toe base layers, including a beanie and socks. Keep that in mind too, and just understand that those ratings are definitely very generous. You should probably just plan on never camping within 20 degrees of what your sleeping bag says if you're only going to use that bag by itself. Now you can add a sleeping bag liner, throw a blanket over the top, add extra layers. These things can keep you warm, but the bag by itself is not going to do the job at the rating it says on the bag, which is confusing and dumb. Number 5, and oh man, I laughed watching this in Chase's video, eating bag meals like a Mountain House meal with regular sized utensils. This one is more annoying than critical, but it does really suck to try to eat a meal in the bottom of a very tall bag with a regular sized spoon. Kudos to Chase in his video for figuring out that if you just dump it into another container, you can eat it that way and not have to deal with having your hands covered in food, but that does mean more dishes. So my favorite solution is just bring a long-handled spork and eat with that. And of course, we sell those on the MotoCamp Nerd site, and a lot of people are big fans of those for eating those bag meals. But that's number 5. Almost everyone does it. You bring the wrong size utensil and have to deal with the annoying hassle of eating a bagged dehydrated meal with a short spoon. And number 6 is one that I don't really even have a solution for. I'm just including it because I want you to know, I want every new motorcycle camper to know that it is part of the process and everyone goes through it. And that is taking too much stuff while simultaneously also not taking enough stuff. You will get out there and realize that you brought 5 ways to start a campfire just in case, but forgot your pillow. You will forget the most obvious stuff, and you'll also way overpack. It just takes time and multiple trips to figure out what your bare essentials are and what you can live without. You have to forget specific things in order to feel the pain of camping without those specific things, to ensure that in the future you'll never make that same mistake again. Experience is the best teacher, pain is the best teacher, and sometimes you just have to experience and feel the pain to learn that lesson. Nobody remembers everything they need right away. Nobody is perfect at this from the beginning. It's just a process you have to go through as you gain more and more experience as a camper, as a motorcycle camper. Even if you're already an experienced camper, you're a backpacker or you're a car camper, there's enough difference and nuance here that you're still going to forget stuff you need and bring stuff you don't. You just have to go on trips and figure it out as you go. So like I said, there's no real solution for this one other than time and experience, but just know we're with you, we feel you, and you're not alone. Everyone does it. So hopefully you got a few tips here. You can save yourself a little pain when you go out moto camping, particularly if you're a new moto camper. But honestly, like I said, experienced moto campers like me make these same mistakes. And make sure you're subscribed to the MotoCamp Nerd YouTube channel here for more moto camping tips, tricks, and gear overviews and stuff like that. And while you're at it, why don't you pop over to the site and check out the world's most carefully curated selection of motorcycle camping specific gear. Every single piece is chosen, vetted, and tested by our founder Ben and his motley crew of moto campers, including myself, to ensure that it will help you have the most comfortable and most fun, stress-free motorcycle camping experience possible. MotoCamp Nerd has all the gear you need so that you can pack small and camp easy.